Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, that was my best impersonation of the Gargoyles intro song. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have here the Neca Gargoyles Goliath Ultimate Action Figure here. This one's going to hit home for a lot of people and also me. Not gonna lie, not a super huge Gargoyles fan, but I did like watching the show when I was in middle school. Gargoyles almost had animation like Batman the Animated Series. I don't know if the same people were drawing them, but the way they moved, just the way the stencils look, it was just like Batman the Animated Series as far as the layout and how it looked. Dope concept. They were from a long time ago, and they got a spell cast on them where they turned into stone, and they were put in stone for many years, and at night they come alive to flesh and blood, and by the time the sun comes up, they are reduced back to stone gargoyles no matter where they are at. So most of the time, they would try to get back into their resting places where they would sit on top of buildings in a gothic-like setting as gargoyles. Alright, so it has a pretty dope packaging here, and this is a big boy, so I had to step back a little bit. You see it has some dope toy photography on the side. That's actually the toy they took a picture of. We're going to flip around to the back, and it says, frozen in stone by day, flesh and blood winged warriors by night, awakening after 1,000 years, a band of powerful gargoyles to find themselves transported to a time and place not their own. New York City. Here, the misunderstood creatures battle modern-day barbarians and struggle to understand the strange new world. Gargoyles, the legend begins. And that's the writing that it says all right there. And I hope I was animated enough for you guys to have you interested in that story backdrop, because I do not know everything that consists with gargoyles. And you have to forgive me if I come out of my scene setting a little bit, because this thing is so huge. Alright, you have different pictures of his accessory. He has a book here, he has a jalapeno, and it shows him with his wings. The wings are somewhat articulated. They move at the ball joint, but they do not move within the wing base. On the side here, excuse me, we'll move this up a little bit. Another toy animation shot of the gargoyle. Flip it back around, you got the front flap here again. Let me move that over for you guys. And let me open this up. 2 Velcro patches here. And as you can see, Goliath, he has a articulated tail with a bendy wire in it. He has several different hands. The book, the jalapeno here, and here is the alternate head scope. So I'm going to get this big boy out of the package here, and we'll see what it looks like in toy form. So here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have Goliath out of the package, and I will say, just after a couple of minutes of messing around with this figure, it is phenomenal. Neca did an awesome job with this figure. The paint, the accessories, the way he looks, the sculpt on him is amazing. I invented another new word, amazing. This guy moves great for Neca. He's double jointed. Of course, he has some hindrance because of how big he is, but I'm already going to automatically tell you, this figure right here is going to be on one of my top 10s at the end of this year, just from simply dealing with him out of the package for a couple of minutes. This figure was supposed to come out in July, and maybe it did for some people, but I just got it this past week at a big bad toy store, and I had to be one of the first to click on for it because I'm pretty sure there's other people waiting. I will start off with the paint. He has a purplish looking color, which he looks like he jumped straight off of the cartoon screen and onto my platform here. What I will say is his wings look amazing, but they seem fragile. Do not drop this on a hardwood floor or any hard floor because it seems like you will have your wings crack. I'm going to back up just a little bit and kind of show you. They have amazing detail. It looks like the inside of a bat wing as far as the engraving. That is all sculpted and it's painted immaculate with a black and almost kind of a purplish, bluish wash on the inside of it. Just like how anybody else would say his wings, sometimes he used those as a cloak or maybe like a cape coming over him. They will not do that. The only place they are articulated is right here at the ball joint, and I'll show you later on in the back what it looks like, but they flap up and down, and it has like a ratchet where it clicks. So I would definitely be careful with them, and the wings make it top heavy. So this tail in the back of him, which is articulated with a bendy wire, which that is awesome. I hate a stiff tail. I hate a stiff cape. It helps this figure out and does it wonders. This figure's an A. I'm going to tell you off the gate. The only way it doesn't get an A++ because of the wings are not super articulated or move with a bendy wire. Typical NECA movement. You need to heat this guy up. I haven't heated him up yet, so I'm not going to do anything too crazy with him. His arms move out about this far, and you can see he's a very muscle-bound person. So I'm pretty sure he can't wipe his butt. So it's like that. And elbows are double jointed, as you can see here, and that's about as far as you're going to get there because of his muscle right there. You can't move him any farther. He has a hinge at his hands, which move back and forth here, almost kind of like in a scratching motion. You can do that. This looks like it's cloth. This looks like it's cloth, but it's like a rubber or plastic, and it's very pliable. It moves around with no problem, so it doesn't hinder him. It looks good. Paint on this thing looks good. Everything has a wash. Everything looks like they took time and they cared about making this figure. I'm not super into Gargoyles, but it was a show I watched when I was in middle school, so hey, I didn't have any toys or anything like that. It was something cool to watch before I caught the bus, and it was something cool to watch after I got home. Usually, by the time Gargoyles, I got into it, it was on that type of syndicated action where it came on in the morning before you went to school or after. As far as his head sculpt, this head sculpt looks really good. It looks like the head sculpt that goes on when he's about to turn into stone or he's about to come out of the stone form. I knew usually he would have those white glowing eyes, or it could just be a head sculpt when he's about to do something fucking really crazy, like bite you on your shoulder blade. I don't know, but it looks phenomenal. I'm a sucker for alternate head sculpts. For the most part, if a figure has a good alternate head sculpt, that is the one I am going to run with. Far as Gargoyles, it doesn't matter to me that he's snarling because that's what a gargoyle is going to do. Look at that. NECA always does an amazing job with paint. I'm going to move him in a little closer, but look at the inside of his mouth there. Let me try to get that focused in. Teeth are painted. Tongue is painted. I mean, this thing looks real. You can get him in some good shots. And that's what it's all about for as adult collectors, especially if you're into toy photography. What is the best figure that's going to make it so fun for me where I get the best shots? I'm going to try to stand him back up here. And as you can see here, as I pick him up, he has several articulation in his feet. He has kind of like a toe hinge, which most time NECA will have that. Then he also has another hinge right at the base of the foot. And then he has like the claws in the back, almost kind of like a beast or a bat. I mean, this guy looks great. As you can see here, his tail is articulated at the hinge where it goes into his Budius Maximus area, and he has a wire tail which kind of bends towards the end, which that's the most important part because that's the part that they knew that was going to help support it for standing up. As you can see here, look how top heavy that is, but that tail keeps him pretty much on point. Now you're gonna have to work with the legs a little bit, and I'm interested to see how this figure lasts over time, but they did the best they could. And as far as a figure like this massive Goliath being the head honcho, he was a big guy, and they needed that tail to support him, especially with these wings. I'm gonna click these wings down a little bit, and the wings can also be helped, looks like, for support too. I always like to be kind of careful with stuff like this because, like I said, the wings look like if you're not careful with them over time, you will break them. This is his main head sculpt here, which is a pretty you know, just pretty kind of just plain look when you want him chilling. And most time Goliath was a cool, calm, and collective person. He did get wild, and that's when he came with this face here when it was time to brawl. As far as his accessories, he doesn't come with much. I've seen other toy reviewers go over this book. They don't know if it's the Book of Spells or some book that he was reading on one episode. Has a jalapeno down here. I guess that's a running joke with Gargoyles. And it looks like here he has 2 right hands and a left hand here, far as his accessories, far as what he can switch out on his hands. But to be honest with you, if it came with none of that, this figure here is tight. It's an A figure. I would give it an A++, but like I said, the wings are not articulated. But the wings are dope. The wings are dope. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into that. And they go into like a little ball hinge back here. You see how it kind of cranks and clicks. So, like I said, they feel real brittle. So just be careful with them. This is almost like not even an action figure. This is a collectible, a piece. This is something that's definitely going to give you some great shelf presence. Everything looks good on here. Every detail, his hair, how it blows in the wind. He looks like Fabio right there with that hair. And then just the wings, the attention they put into it, the paint they put into it. This is a great figure. I'm not going to get too deep into Gargoyles line. I'm probably going to get the rest of the Gargoyles. Really, my favorite Gargoyles, I believe it was Bronx. And I believe that's the dog-like one. I can't wait to see what that one looks like. It's probably going to be massive also. So I'm not going to get too much into like just going deep into the bad guy that they dealt with, or maybe even the girl who's kind of like an April O'Neil figure with them. I like the Gargoyles. I believe it's 4 of them. And like I said, if anybody's watching this and they know Gargoyles like that, they probably want to hit me in the head with a mallet because I'm not getting everything right. But hey, like I said, I never was deep into it. I do remember the cartoon in the 90s. But I was in middle school by then, man. But they were significant enough to know that that was a great show. And then now they have great figures. As far as his waist movement, Neca never really has enough articulation for me, but for a figure like this, Goliath is not going to do too much. He's going to pick you up, he's going to slam you, he's going to get real rough with you. He's not like a Spider-Man figure where he's super articulated. But the articulation that they did give him, man, is phenomenal. It's cool with me. I don't think they could have did it any other way besides making the wings, working with the wings a little bit more. Neca comes out with accessory packs. Maybe in the future they'll do an accessory pack where the wings kind of cloak over him. Like the wings, and I'm just doing this strictly for somebody who doesn't know anything about Gargoyles. Which is, be honest with you, it's a bummer because that's the dopest look of Goliath when he has his wings flapped over him like this. And it looks nothing like that. For the most part, this is probably the closest you could get it with it, but it would be closer in, and his wings would be almost kind of like how Batman has his cape when he's sitting up talking to Commissioner Gordon. He's probably up on a tall building, it's windy outside. He wants something to cloak over his chest. That's exactly how Goliath would do his wings in that show. Maybe they'll get there one day. For now, I am satisfied with this. To be honest with you, let me get him back on camera, because he's the star of the show, not me talking. Be honest with you, I thought this figure would never come out because they screamed July, and I watched the months go by, and then I started seeing other reviewers get them. I'm like, oh, it's probably about time for me to get my Goliath. And lo and behold, I got the email, and he was on his way. I'm not going to go too much deeper into this figure, man. It's not too much about him, man. He looks great. He looks phenomenal. My whole reason for my show is to tell you when to buy an action figure or not. And for the most part, when I put an action figure on here, I'm going to tell you to fucking buy it. Excuse my language, but that's how deep and passionate I am into action figures there. Great guy. Give him an A. He would have an A++ if his wings were a little bit more articulated. But as far as paint, the quality, the effort, I don't care if you don't collect action figures. This is something cool to put on your shelf. I don't care if you don't know anything about Gargoyles. This figure right here will make you buy the figure and then watch the cartoon. You wouldn't believe how many figures I came across And like, I don't know anything about this, and it made me jump into whatever source of entertainment that it came from. I do that with a lot of wrestling figures. I don't know jack about wrestling now. I'm more into the heyday of wrestling. But AEW made me pull up clips of Orange Cassidy. Who is this person? They made such a good figure. I wanted to check out and see who is this man. I watched him wrestle, and I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great gimmick that he has going on. So if that's what type of figure this is, man, he's dope, man. He's dope. If you can get him, get him. So there you have it. You have Neca, Ultimate Deluxe action figure, Goliath from the series Gargoyles. And this is something I like to do. And I'm just new to my show. I'm just getting into how I want to do things. So you're pretty much going to watch me progress episode by episode on things I want to do. But I also just want to put a message of encouragement on each end of every episode. Now, if I got the voice and somebody can hear it, I'd rather say a message of encouragement instead of saying something negative just to be funny. The message today is just be a person of integrity. Do what you say you're going to do. A lot of people today in this world just can't even hold up to that. If you're going to say you're going to come through and pick somebody up for a ride, or you say you're going to get somebody something, or you're going to do this favor for somebody, stick to it, and stick to it to a T. Because karma is real, and things can come back around in full circle. That thing you do for somebody is going to come back for you, and it's something you need. We all need something here. We are community, whether you're black or white. And my message today, because I work in the service industry, not as necessarily as far as waiting tables, but I work in construction. I pour concrete. And it's a very hard job. It's a very brutal job. It's one of the hardest jobs in construction. And my biggest thing is being a person of integrity. If I can do it, you can do it. Because by the time I finish with a job, I'm dog tired. But if somebody, a customer wants something from me, and if I can do it, then I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it to a T. I'm not even going to do it 100%. I'm going to do it 110%. Why? Because I want that done back for me. Do I get it all the time? No. But my life has panned out great just for me as being a man of integrity, especially with men. We're the backbone of the world. Be a person of integrity. That's all I got to say. If you got the money to buy this Goliath, buy it. If you got the money to buy two, because you might break the wings, buy it. God bless.